I convinced my best friend to meet her stalker ex in person. Something had been wrong with my best friend for 3 months, and when I finally cornered her at lunch, she told me she'd been talking to her birth mother online since February. At first I was thrilled because finding her biological parents had been her dream since middle school, but she clutched her phone to her chest when I asked to see their conversations. She mentioned her mother kept bringing up how important it is to forgive people who love you, how sometimes people make mistakes when they care too much, how walking away from someone who truly loves you is something you'll always regret. But then I realized something. Her abusive ex had stopped harassing her 3 months ago, and coincidentally, this was the same week this mother suddenly appeared preaching about forgiveness and second chances. I had to figure out if this birth mother was real or if my best friend was walking into something dangerous. When my friend went to the bathroom, I grabbed her phone and quickly took a photo of the profile picture with my phone, and that night when I reverse searched it, I found the photo belonged to a random realtor in Michigan. The way this woman wrote made me sick. Those same ellipses after emotional statements. That phrase, "you know I only want what's best," that her ex used to throw around constantly. This supposed mother somehow knew about the stuffed rabbit named Buttons hidden in my friend's closet, about the time she broke her arm at summer camp. Inside jokes, things no birth mother could know. Her ex had been showing up at her job every morning after she left him, calling from burner phones, following her home. Then 3 months ago, he vanished the exact same week this mother appeared. I made a fake profile and messaged this woman, and she made the same weird grammar mistakes her ex always made, typing should've instead of should have, and putting periods where commas belonged. My heart stopped when my friend mentioned her mother brought up the miscarriage from 2 years ago, something only her ex and I knew. And now this woman was using it to guilt her into sharing her new address by saying she needed to know where her daughter was, so she could finally make amends for abandoning her. I watched my friend drift away from everyone, skipping our dinners to stay home, messaging this woman who told her everything she wanted to hear while asking about her schedule, when her roommate worked, if she still walked alone at night. The woman knew which coffee shop my friend went to, knew about her anxiety medication, knew she was scared of parking garages, all these details painting a perfect picture of when and where she was vulnerable. 3 months of this woman mapping out my friend's entire life, learning she'd be alone next weekend when her roommate left town, and my friend had handed over every piece thinking she was connecting with the mother who abandoned her. I had to make her see the truth, but if I pushed too hard, she'd shut me out, and then she'd have nobody except this predator wearing her mother's face. I gathered all the proof I could and spread everything across her kitchen table when I went over to talk to her about it, but she accused me of being jealous that she'd found family. Then I pulled up the screenshot where her mother mentioned the scar on her hip from falling off her bike at 7, something that happened years after the adoption that only her ex would know. Her face drained of color as she thought about everything she'd told him, her new address, where she worked, that she'd be home alone next weekend, and I watched it hit her that he'd been in her head for 3 months. I told her we could turn this around and make him pay, and though her hands were shaking, she said she was done being scared. We went to the police where the detective said they'd been wanting to nail this guy after 3 other women filed stalking reports, and they helped us set everything up. My friend texted her mother that she was ready to meet at the coffee shop, but the response insisted it had to be the parking structure on Maple Street at 9, because crowds made her nervous. My friend walked into that parking garage with me and 2 undercover cops hanging back, and she stood under those awful fluorescent lights that kept flickering while we waited. A figure came out from behind a pillar and it was him, trying to play it smooth by saying her mother sent him to bring her somewhere private, but my friend didn't budge. "You always were too stupid to know what was good for you," he snarled when she didn't move, and he grabbed her wrist hard enough to leave marks while trying to drag her to his van. The cops rushed him as I ran to my friend, and he immediately switched to his victim act, claiming this was all a misunderstanding, that she'd invited him, that she was making things up like always. When they cuffed him anyway, he lost it and lunged at her, screaming that she belonged to him, that nobody else could have her, and it took 3 cops to get him on the ground. They hauled him away while he screamed threats, then promises, then threats again. My friend collapsed into my arms sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe while the police car disappeared around the corner, and I just held her tight while she shook.